How's it going, guys? Back again. I thought I'd just go back to like my original style of uploads for this video, just because I felt like talking. Learning from your mistakes, probably one of the hardest things for people to do, but a lot of people don't admit how difficult it is to change, to take accountability for their actions, and I'm no different. The reason I make this video is because I've learned a lot of harsh truths recently in my life, and I thought, unfortunately this is the only place where being emotional is where I don't get judged for it, I don't get judged in a negative light for having emotions, and weirdly enough, as ironic as it is, a public space like YouTube makes me feel more welcomed to speak about how I feel with a bunch of people that you don't know than people that you do know. And it goes back to that phrase of, people, what was that phrase? Strangers will support you more than your friends, or something like that. And so I don't know how to explain it, but what I'm talking about is nothing directly about me. I mean, I lied. It is, but it's also an important message for people out there. I feel like the majority of people around the ages of 13 to 35, even a lot younger than I thought I'd say, but there's a lot of you around that age who struggle with being your authentic self because you're too busy suppressing yourself to please other people's judgment of you. And to say that in an easier way, you're trying to be something that you're not because you think it's going to make other people feel better. And one of the biggest mistakes is literally that, not being your authentic self. And it's hard because it's such a slippery slope trying to be yourself, because some people who want to be themselves would be, a more emotional, more vocal person. But then the contradicting thing about that is, sometimes if you don't have anything good to say, you shouldn't say it at all. But of course that defeats the purpose of you being yourself saying something. And what I'm trying to convey in this video is basically know which battles to fight and know which situations you should bite the bullet in. There are some situations where you'll regret it and you'll look back and you think you had the biggest crash out you've ever had. You got angry over something you shouldn't have, or you got too emotional about something that you could have easily prevented and made less awkward by just keeping quiet about it. And that's another big mistake that a lot of people go through, is reacting when they shouldn't have. For me personally, I've spent my whole life building a really bad image of myself to people, and not even a fraction of a percentage of people that I know in my life respect me from the way I feel. That's how I feel about it, because every time I react, I'm the bad guy. Every time they've reacted the same way about the same thing, and then I tell them that they've reacted, I'm still the bad guy. So it's a situation of, I'm damned if I do, and I'm damned if I don't. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people out there who feel like if they say something, they're wrong. If they don't say something, they're wrong. And it's really shit. And what I've learned from that particular feeling. It's probably the biggest feeling that a lot of people have, that they never realized that that's what holds them back. But living a long life, or living many years with the feeling inside your gut telling you that nobody respects you or sees you as equal, as good enough to be respected. Of course, you may believe that, you know, it's nothing to worry about. And of course, people will be, you know, so naive in their own way to say that, you know, why do you feel that way? You're just seeing things, you know. You're just being ignorant, or you're overthinking, or whatever. So what I'm trying to say is, if you truly feel like that in your gut, the problem probably is there, but the issue lays within yourself. It's not really their fault if you have allowed this feeling of not feeling enough to perpetuate for years on end. And that's not, I'm not trying to say that in a bad way to put you down. Essentially what I am saying is, if you felt like people judge you and look at you badly all your life, maybe you should cut those people out. Maybe you should avoid situations like that. Because at the end of the day, being your authentic self doesn't mean put yourself in compromising situations, if that makes sense. I may be rambling here, but that's kind of the point of this video. So if you don't understand anything, please tell me in the comments. But to summarize, what I'm getting at is, the biggest mistake a lot of people make in their life, and they don't realize it before it's too late, is stop focusing on what other people think. Stop focusing on what other people believe, and stop building this image in your head that these people think this, these people think that. Do everything that makes you feel happy or comfortable, and never put yourself in a position where you have to over-explain yourself, because you shouldn't have to explain yourself to anyone. But then don't put yourself in a situation where you know it's not going to end up well, and then do it anyway. It's a very hard conversation to talk about. It is a complicated one to speak about, because as I'm speaking, I'm contradicting myself, as some of you may know, which was a hard part, but it's the confusion of being a human being. It's unfortunately the confusion a lot of people have, because a lot of people in this world will listen to respond. They won't listen to understand. And what I mean by that, if I were to describe it, is, imagine the person who's listening is a sponge and a brick. You pour water on both of them. The sponge absorbs the water. It listens to understand. The water pours off the brick. It doesn't soak in. It listens to respond. They don't listen. They don't listen at all. And yeah, I thought I'd just say all these things because I feel like somebody who's watching this will get what I'm saying, and it probably relates to what they're going through in a sense. Best way to summarize any sort of advice I can give in this video is, if you don't have anything good to say, don't say it at all. In many situations I've realized, as much as you hate to probably do it, if you're a very emotional person, or like vocal, is bite the bullet. It's very hard to do, but do it. Trust me, it will save you so much awkwardness and so much unnecessary stress, you know? Bite the bullet is one of the biggest pieces of advice I can give you. The second piece of advice is, if you believe that there is a problem in your life that keeps occurring over and over again, the problem probably lies within yourself, and the best way to deal with that is avoid what you keep doing. So if you feel like you always give people an inch and they take a mile because you overreact, and then they capitalize on the fact that you've overreacted because you've given them the upper hand, stop reacting. It hurts to say this, but don't do that. The same way, if you keep making the same mistake, you wake up late every time, then you say, oh, you know, I just want to wake up early, I just want to do this. The more you talk about what you want to do, you never do. A lot of the people that I know in the gym or have trained in the gym, they kept on telling me, oh, I'm going to train 6 days a week. I'm going to go on this diet. I'm going to go do this routine. A week later, they call me or they text me saying, I don't feel like it. I don't feel like going today. The more you speak about something, the less it will happen. And that will, a lot of people who love to speak things into existence or manifest will hate me for that, but there are the right things to say and the wrong things to say. It's very situational. The hardest part about being a human being is knowing what battles to fight and knowing when to use your emotions. That's the most important part. When do you use your emotions? You have to be calculated, which is it's really shit to say, but when you're with your friends or family, be yourself, use your emotions. When you're with work colleagues, at a job, at an event, or in any sort of situation that doesn't have anyone close to you, I think it's better to keep quiet most of the time, analyze your surroundings, gauge what people are like, and don't trust anyone. But yeah, from my experience recently, I've realised that I have to take a step back from a lot of people that I used to consider my friends. Only because I realise that I'm also the problem in that friendship. Because I would make so many mistakes that I would be the easy target. So I didn't feel like a friend anymore. If you know what I mean, then you know. If you don't, then consider yourself lucky. But yeah. If anyone does have anything that they want to talk about, that they feel insecure about, or worry to tell anybody else, it's always better to talk to a neutral party. I am quite a neutral party. I will tell you straight to your face if you're right or if you're wrong, and in the nicest way I can. But yeah, these videos are a lot easier to talk about. I still want to start the podcast, but I need to get a job. Not going to talk about that too much, but things went left with the current job I recently had. Yeah, man, life's a roller coaster. Things can change in a month. That's how crazy life is. In 1 month, you could have a whole different circumstance. But yeah, I appreciate everybody giving me the love on this channel, and I'm still looking to hire someone as an editor. So yeah, thank you for listening to whoever's made it this far. Most people make it about 2 minutes in and then stop the video, but still, 2 minutes is a long time, so thank you for watching for 2 minutes. But yeah, bye bye everybody.